Welcome to Sunderland RCA TV, your direct line inside the Sunderland LGV Park. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button underneath and also clicking the bell icon so that you get informed whenever we bring out new content. You're listening to RCA TV News on the 4th of August. In this bulletin, we've got a whole week's worth of news to catch up with. And so let's take you back a week to the start of the EBAC League Division 1 campaign. So on the opening day of the season, of course, we entertained Newcastle Benfield at the Sunderland LGV Park. And ahead of the game, we completed the signing of 19-year-old centre-half Sam Irwin, who's pictured in the photo here. Sam had actually already appeared in 4 out of 5 of the club's pre-season fixtures, making his debut in the second half of the Robert Alderson Trophy final against Hordern CW when he came on for the injured Ben Riding, who'd got a serious head injury in that game. Welcome to the LGV Park, Sam. And Sam did indeed go on to make his competitive debut in that game, coming on as a second half substitute. Here is the moment then when the league season kicked off at the LGV Park last week. Now, most of you will know at this stage that we did, of course, lose heavily 7-1 in that game to Newcastle Benfield. The comments of manager Dave Dixon have been widely circulated and are available on our YouTube channel. So if you've not already seen them, do go and have a look at Dave's reaction to that heavy defeat. It's fair to say that he wasn't happy. The one bright spark was, of course, the continued good goal scoring form of Jackson Ward, who continued his pre-season form by getting on the score sheet with a superb curling effort late in the match. So well done to Jackson. So that was the opening to the season that we were not looking for. On the same day, the reserves also went down in their pre-season friendly last weekend to Ferry Hill Athletic, going down 6-2 despite goals from Riley Johnson and an own goal. Those 2 goals actually brought the scores level for a short time in the game before, after a sea of substitutions, the game went away from them. However, there was enough in the performance for Dom Jones to say that he's not fearful about the sides meeting again in 2 weeks, which will actually be the opening league fixture in the Wearside League Division 1 when Ferry Hill and RCA Reserves square up against each other again. Sticking with the reserves, and there is a change of vice-captain in the reserve team. That is because the original vice-captain Joshua Bowmaker has, of course, now since been promoted to assistant manager of the reserve team, working alongside Dom. And so a goalkeeper, experienced goalkeeper, Regan Ward, who some of you may not know was actually the 3rd choice goalkeeper at Carlisle United a short couple of seasons ago, he becomes the vice-captain alongside captain Bradley Paul, who's the only member of the reserve team to have made a first team appearance so far this season when he played against Brighton and Crawcrook. Turning our attention now to the midweek game, and ahead of our midweek trip to Carlisle City, we signed midfielder Ewan James. Ewan is actually the brother of right back Ollie James, and as with Sam Irwin, Ewan had already featured heavily in our pre-season programme and had played in 4 of the games, actually scoring the winner against Hordern CW in the Robert Alderson Trophy final with a cheeky back heel. We were not able to credit him at the time because he was still listed as a trialist, but he did play in 4 of those pre-season games. And again, he went on to make his competitive debut when he came on as a substitute in the second half against Carlisle City on Tuesday night. So let's formally welcome Ewan to the club. And here is the moment on Tuesday night when Danny Earl, as you can see there, wearing the 9 shirt, kicked off against Carlisle City. It was a much improved performance from RCA, and as you will see in the highlights, that are on our YouTube channel, or rather on our website, that have been supplied by Carlisle City, if you look at those highlights, you will see that the second goal that Carlisle scored, obviously at the time the score was 1-0, was clearly offside. 2 players in an offside position in front of the final RCA defender, in between Matthew Wilkinson. You can clearly see that when the ball was played, that was the situation. And what the highlights don't go on to show you, but what we have also got on video, because one of the players' fathers, Alex Phil, he was actually recording large sections of the match, and he recorded the incident, is that after the second goal went in, RCA did actually score a perfectly legitimate goal themselves when Danny Earl's effort came back off the keeper and was slotted home. Again, the footage that we've got on video clearly shows that at the time Danny Earl made that strike, the RCA player was clearly onside, and so that goal should have been allowed. Obviously, if those two events had not happened, in other words, if the goal had been allowed and our goal had not been disallowed, then the score at that stage of the match would have been 1-1. So a bit of context there. We did go down, obviously 3-1, but it was an improved performance, and but for some, poor, let's call it poor decisions from the match officials, the game could have had a different outcome. And Jackson Moore once again continuing his by now excellent goal scoring record, getting on the score sheet again for his second competitive goal added to the 3 he scored in pre-season. So 5 goals in total now for Jackson. Let's hope this great goal scoring run continues. One other piece of news to bring you before we turn our attentions to tomorrow's game, and that is that our local derby match away at Seaham Red Star, which was originally scheduled to take place on Boxing Day, the 26th of December, has now been brought forward at Seaham's request to later this month. So that game will now take place on Friday, August the 25th. Neither side had a scheduled game for Saturday the 26th because neither of us are involved in the opening round of the FA Vars, and that of course is because we've been drawn against each other in the following round. So both of us had a free Saturday on the 26th. Seaham asked if that game could be played on the Friday night, and we agreed, and that should be a very good attendance for that exciting local derby for all fans to look forward to. One other item of fixture news, and that is that the reserve team have organised an additional pre-season friendly for this weekend, for Saturday, and they'll now be away to Newton Aycliffe YFC in an additional pre-season friendly match 1 week, of course, before their competitive season kicks off. Our attentions, of course, now turn to the Emirates FA Cup, and what can be obviously a very lucrative competition for clubs at our level if they are able to progress through 1 or 2 rounds in the competition, with some very useful prize money up for grabs. We will be at home to West Allotment Celtic tomorrow, Saturday the 5th of August, kick-off 3 o'clock at the LGV Park. And you don't need me to tell you that this is going to be a very tough ask, as West Allotment Celtic are in fine form, having beaten Whitley Bay 6-0 away from home in midweek, a result that has really made a lot of people sit up and take notice. So that will be a tough fixture to overcome. However, manager Dave Dixon will probably have his strongest available side tomorrow, with more players becoming available after returning from holiday. At the time of writing, Dixon was also hoping to make another signing ahead of the fixture, but at present we are waiting for international clearance to come through for the player, so he's not currently available, and obviously we can't release the details until that international clearance is received from the FA. But if we are able to complete that, then there will be another new name in the squad for tomorrow. If you're not able to get down to the RCA, down to the LGV Park tomorrow, of course you can follow the game across social media. We will have on sale again tomorrow, of course, our new look match programme, the Red Review. We've actually produced a double header issue this weekend, so make sure that you get down and grab a copy of that while copies are available. The issue covers both the West Allotment Celtic game and Tuesday night's home match with Whitley Bay. It was decided that with both ourselves and Whitley Bay involved in the FA Cup on Saturday, and with there being a possibility of a replay for either side, which would mean that our Tuesday night game wouldn't go ahead, that as a precaution it would be best not to produce individual programme for that match in case the game was subsequently called off and they were wasted. So a double header match programme will be on sale tomorrow. So that's it, folks. Promises to be an exciting tie. Dave Dixon and Callum Brown's side are definitely showing signs of improvement. They will clearly need to show that improvement further if we're to progress in the FA Cup. With your support, hopefully we can do that. So see you at the LGV ground tomorrow, 3 o'clock. All roads lead to the Emirates FA Cup tie. But until then, you are up to date.